sure about filming what's gonna happen next tomorrow.
What? No, that's fine, man.
So it might go very bad.
It will not. Be fine. It's not the first time you did this.
Kind of from this way it was.
Huh?
This way it kind of is.
Or you can extend the feet down. You see?
Yeah, but this will sit just fine.
Yeah, but we cannot move it to put this guy in. We have to.
When you're gonna extend it, have a leverage.
It's not really that easy. We'll see why. Maybe I'll take this guy off. Maybe just maybe.
Well, because it has to go over the objective.
And the stupid middle thing of the
Yeah, but it's also a point where you can kind of like let it sit, no? Right up. No? I mean, I don't know, you know the best.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah. Can't open these if it's not on the engine. So. Mind. Let's lift it onto there first.
Sorry?
Let's lift it onto the lift first.
So, you tell me what to do.
You want some gloves? No?
Maybe. So grabbing it anywhere is fine, right?
Already streaming areas. Already streaming.
Yep. Oh, it's fine. Oh, good.
Just go further to the back. First take care of the wooden piece.
Sorry, which one?
Doesn't matter because it's all cracked. Just further to the back. Probably won't be able to. Okay. And bolts for the gearbox. If you duck your head, I'm just gonna slightly lower it a bit. That'll be fine. So we actually can work with our arms. Otherwise,
Don't feed it.
I would love the best to put it on my shoulder and then just make it in.
I'll just, if you're on this side, I'll just lift it here before it reaches the scale and slide it in.
First we have to go up there with this guy,
Yeah, that's what I'm back.
and then we have to slide it to
I see. This guy is a little bit too close to.
sure is.
Oh, okay, good.
Just power it by itself.
Okay, we're touching now.
That's my issue with this one.
Yeah. Here we are no clearance. Okay, no trouble. Clearly it. Pump it. Wait. And pump it more.
Can you hold it for a second yourself?
Yeah. Sweet.
You know, it's a question of this guy here.
All the rest you have to do that.
Okay, wait.
It's going to really suck.
Too much time.
Up in the rear. Not in with the shaft. Can you hold it for a second?
Wait. Okay.
No, no.
Wait. I'm holding it.
Good. Let me get 2 bolts in. And the big box now.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Of course. It would be really nice if we could actually move
This guy
the
here.
gearbox jack at the front. So
Yeah, it didn't have to be lifted by hands and have nothing to prop. This is already on Skyline. No fun.
So I didn't remeasure. I did not remeasure the slave cylinder distance because we literally ran the clutch on power for how many runs was it? For like 3 sets of tires, and that's it. So
Yeah.
should be fine otherwise.
Is this okay if there's this line going here underneath?
Yeah, I cannot do it any differently.
I'm just asking. Not that something moved.
Yeah, no, ideally I would have like 5 to 10 millimeter more clearance, but I don't. It worked like this, so
Yeah.
I can't worry about it today.
Yeah. No. I'm just asking if it moved. Not, then that's by design.
Good news is input shaft went in rather smooth.
This was
Which means the clutch is well aligned.
it was quite effortless.
Effortless.
What did I say?
Quite effortless.
Oh, effortless.
That's what I thought.
It was soundless.
Over here, it tests everything.
This system is so interesting to me that you have U-hole and how this gets welded on, and then how this gets twisted.
I mean, you do need something to connect your controller to your slave work.
Yeah. But this will be enough for like rigidity of the system. That's what I find interesting.
Oh yeah.
This little privet broke.
More questions. Did you make a mistake that caused it to break? Jump again when the second one's broken.
If not when.
Well, it's gonna break eventually.
They all do? Or you just swap them?
Yeah,
before
the
you-
only question is do I break prematurely because
problem?
because there's some kind of issue that maybe due to installation as well.
But this one was pretty old already.
Not as old as you think. But it was perhaps not OEM. We had the vibration issue, and any kind of vibration doesn't help with things not breaking.
I don't know if this grinding here on the front top part tells any story to you.
Oh, it's just been taken in and out quite often.
Here on the front,
That's
It's
a bit that goes into the gearbox.
there's like a little bit of shaving on the top, but not on the bottom and stuff like that.
I mean, it also wobbled around nicely.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Once it broke,
I mean, some of the teeth are also like grinded off.
Yeah,
on the
it
front.
didn't have a good time in there when it broke.
Crazy, no? But it's such a nice piece of like machined part. I like stuff like that. Walking. Walking.
I really don't like this jacket.
What's your favorite track to drive?
Mine.
From all the tracks you've driven or drifted?
Question? Favorite overall is really a tough question because I can tell you which elements of certain tracks are my favorite element.
Okay, so you don't have one course that you say, oh, this is my favorite course to
No.
to drift.
No, what flows really well is the one infield in Lausitz, for example. That's nice, but we never in competition drove it with the amount of run-up I would have liked. Because I reckon we could go into the first corner easy 50k more than we already did.
So what was your,
I don't know, I don't have a speedo, that's just my...
what would be your feeling, like 120, 130? And you think you could do 180?
I think you could do 200 and with a lot of risk.
And be allowed to go wide?
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe 180, not 200.
Where would you do 200? Like triple left?
Triple left if you have enough power to initiate early enough. When I did 200 at triple left, it was borderline too much. It was more like 190 was correct.
That was eventful.
We still want to drive Gottebill eventually, and they have some pretty high speed stuff depending on the track and the lineup. But yeah, I prefer fast entries to slow ones.
Yeah, for sure. And how does I'm feel?
and-
I never asked you how
and
does it
it's-
feel to enter on at IDK on the wall? Like, is that scary at all? In any way?
What's scary is not really the first wall, but the second wall. Because if you mess up and hit the first wall, the chance of you just
Front.
hitting the second wall dead on is super high.
Yeah.
Which I guess should make the first ball more scary, but one that will do the damage is the second one.
Because if you smack too much, you're gonna just flip the front, it goes straight into the wall.
Yeah,
This is your like worst case scenario.
Yeah, basically.
Because you destroy a lot of rubber.
No, it's not really scary. You should respect it. But if you're scared of it, you're not going to get close enough to go anywhere in competition. Basically. So drifting has an element of stability to it where you just have to shut off your brain to certain aspects.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you also have to be in some way in a flow with the car.
Oh yeah.
Like if you don't have the flow, you always like you can't have consistency. If you don't have consistency, every single initiation is a gamble.
Oh yeah.
I talked to Olga about Iron Ring, about
But what exactly?
this year in comparison to last year.
And what did you say?
So yeah, you know, these guys first times here and this and that, and you know, jumping in a car, freshly built, not used to the power.
That's not so easy.
And I said, yeah, but you know, last year we won with Eric. And said, yeah, you can't compare that. And then he said, that the amount of talent and everything is just incomparable.
That's not nice.
He said a lot more. Not necessarily the one I suppose on a live stream, but there was a lot of praise. There was a lot of praise going on, and some amount of comparison. But then he also acknowledged that the other guys, you know, you need to test the car, get used to the power. But then when you're top, you know, when you were the top, and then it was like, yeah, you can't really compare. You know? And then we agreed, you know, you have drivers who try to build something in Germany, and then you have drivers who are international level, period. And not, the jump doesn't necessarily happen from whatever you do here that you will ever be ready for anything international. I said, yeah, if you find German Drift Championship challenging, then you're not an international leader. Like your best bet would be like when DMAC drivers came to NBC.
Yeah.
And then they show you what's possible. You drive this track for like years and years and years. Yeah. Some other guys.
It's a nice reference.
For some other guys, but the DMAC drivers, they have been driving this track. Anything I haven't seen from you already. Is what I'm trying to say. It's just
don't overdo it.
I'm not, but I am. But I am. No, but when you drive with bus, exactly the same. Exactly the same points where early on power they were doing some mistakes until they figured out the track, which is fine. But the flicks and the lines that I saw and how early on power, how low on power, on fly off and whatnot, it was nothing new to me personally. You know.
I'm just also very excited about mounting the starter, by the way. I'm just also very excited about that for the first time it felt like that in Valencia. I still have to find out on a track where you have fast widths on slow corners. But for the first time ever I felt like I had an actual front end that I can rely on, not to lock up on me, because these cars with the double wishbone and the rear mounted steering rack, they do have an overcentering issue where they just lock up on you on high angle, especially if you go from fast to slow or something.
Okay.
So I could never trust the car in these situations.
That's why Club Monaco was always a gamble.
Yeah, into the hairpins I would have to set it, and either it was fine or I was in trouble.
Yeah, because you can't correct anymore. So,
Because I can't correct anymore. And,
so it is what it is.
now I feel like I can finally work with the front of the car engine.
That is.
I'm excited for
Big
it.
one.
Again, I have to see on a fast track.
Yeah, whether or not.
But
Well, then
this-
it would be exactly the place.
This push pump on the HTK front mount plate feels like the best power steering I ever had. So
Interesting.
that's pretty cool.
Which means, I mean, you, at Falcon Drift Show, you guys are not running up to Plasma Motor, right?
Are
you allowed to?
I believe we are. It's going to be like last year, but we're running nowhere near the grip.
Yeah, but you could still kind of throw it in with a lot of angle and see what happens. Right?
Yeah, sure. But if you don't run the proper grip setup, it's no real reference.
And do we know the level demo? Or is it like,
Sort of.
is it a parking lot?
No, it's a racetrack.
Is it a restaurant?
Yes. Good tight, but
Shoot, I have to ask about media accreditation, how that works. Reminder.
we also have to make it.
Shoot, another reminder. How do I make it here? Okay, so who should I send the question about media there?
Wrong.
Send someone.
Or check Danish Drift Championship on Instagram.
I will directly write to them.
Check Danish Drift Championship on Instagram. They have some stuff linked. Maybe it's among them.
Oh, and I need to apply for 24 hours media accreditation by the 24 hours media portal thing.
Yep.
And see if they allow me that. Because I was thinking it would be cool to have access.
Would be.
So also, Edward is coming to BBC on his own. I think it's
Isn't it sick?
yeah, but that's
It's
like
only
next
2
week.
days.
Yeah, next weekend. But he's going to be doing that for. Who's helping you with the 2J block?
Sorry?
Who has the 2J block info? Reckons Tom.
No, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, but this guy is going to be working with them. I guess.
It's nice for him.
Yeah. Tom is trying to push his media stuff.
He's doing a pretty good job, all things considered. To be honest.
All things considered.
Yeah, I might be a good driver, but I'm looking at the other crucial things.
Nonetheless, you do have your strong suits, and I managed to expose those. So, all of them wish they were in your position in social media wise.
Thanks.
Man, we function as a team. You do your part, I do my part.
Okay, I need to go with some torque.
Corey saying just bought 1998 model POS and injected it with a custom backfire and new fog tinted headlights. I don't know what's on Honda POS. Is that an American car? Or one of those that are only in the Philippines? Honda POS. So guys, you've seen the clutch system. Now I'm gonna show you the Samson's gearbox quickly. How we placed it in. Gideon says, "Good evening, idol." Chat is on. Chat is on. I just have to make sure that we're seeing the latest all messages. Yeah. Here you go, guys. Clutch in and Samson's sequential gearbox in. Just needs to be torqued down and all paired to the 2J. And here's the single top mounted turbo custom header, exhaust manifold, whatever you want to call it. Looks dope. Hello, anybody there? Yep. Now we're gonna, well, another Yannick's gonna mount it, torque it. Pretty cool stuff. And here's the rear of the car with a Winters quick change differential, a Y-swap angle kit all around, and the cooling all the way in the back with a bash bar. Everything done properly. And still need to play a little bit with the differential position, but otherwise all good. The tank has been repositioned. The tank is now inside, and the dry sump oil container is inside. And if I show you in the front, you will see here the dry sump of the 2J. Yeah. Ross Performance. Ross Performance is also Australian, or?
Sorry?
Is Ross Performance also Australian?
Yep.
It's a custom.
Pretty nice dry sump kits overall. So they mostly make the sums itself, the mounting brackets, and crankshaft dampers. And they pretty much use AV8 pumps with all of their kits, running a 5-stage AV. It's a pump from the US, but yeah, they make all the custom stuff.
Sick. Really neat. You want to see the car? Okay, here's the car. This would actually be a nice angle also to film from here instead of front.
torque wrench is of course not going to be 100% accurate anymore if you put a joint and an extension on it, but
Close enough.
still a ballpark to go off. But yeah, in a general sense, apart from the freedom of the transmission choice, expanding the transmission tunnel is amazing for the space you have to work with. Sorry, that's available for working.
I think YouTube might start complaining soon because this too sexy. Looks too good.
The car, maybe.
Yeah. Write in the comments, guys, what do you think? What kind of power he's putting down on this car? It's a 2J370Z, built for pro drifting. But theoretically, we could drive something else, right? If we change the suspension alignment and everything, we could drive something else. Like with this car, you could drive like circuit or something.
Oh yeah. Not according to any regulations.
Let's say some open class or something.
And you will not have the greatest of aerodynamics, but if you're keen enough, you could try it in time attack or something.
You would have the power. I mean, aerodynamics we could still work on for that matter.
We had a big queue on almost all of last season, so I quite remember the extension setup to get to where I need to in the future.
could you ask Jan Erik if he can send me the link for the sway bar? Want one in the back of the E92. Dennis.
Yeah. If you need a custom solution, it's probably best to talk to HGK.
Which he does,
Or-
because he has a lot of parts from HK.
Or we can build you one eventually after we're done building and developing our own.
Yeah.
Or we can build yours first and you pay for all of the evolutions. And then I build my own. That's awesome.
That's also not bad, yeah. Somebody's asking T37s. No, they're not T37s. They're Strom wheels or Strom wheels, whatever you want to call them. There's a cap. Whatever they're called. I forgot the name. But they look really nice. I'm jealous of Jan Erik.
They are Strom something. I don't need to know because I paid normal price.
Yeah. Funny that they have no designation which wheel it is, nowhere on the wheel.
If you're in Germany, you can buy them from BM Motorsport.
So BM Motorsports does sell them in Germany, but I don't think this is a German question. I think there's some Japanese kanji or whatever it's called
Wheels should be represented worldwide.
from Japan. There we go, and we are in Germany.
I would like to have some nice original 3-piece work wheels or something, but
Oh yeah,
since we kind of need 20 for them to go to an event.
where from Japan, my friend? This is a 2JZ 370Z built for pro drifting. True Power HQ. Dennis, I don't know if you heard what Jan Erik told you about the sway bar, but you have two options. Either talk to AJK or talk to Jan Erik and then take part in the evolution and development of the sway bar for E92.
Tell me when you're done talking to Dennis, I'll make less noise again. Yeah?
What?
Tell me when you're done talking to Dennis, and I'll be making less noise again.
Just do your thing, man.
No, I want to be loud when you're talking to him.
Uh-huh. That's fine. Thank you for subscription, guys.
Efficient here today.
That's fine.
But we're also kind of in a buddy's shop place, since we are still building and expanding our own, and we don't have a lift in there right now. So
This is old James Gate headquarters.
old, not anymore really. It's very close to the new headquarters, which again we're still building. So. Enough extensions for this size to get to the starter bolts comfortably.
I'll just put the phone down for a bit. I'll mount it somewhere else. Maybe so you guys have a view from here or something like that. Or is this view still fine for you? If we go here. Phone charge. Okay, Dennis, if you have any comments, oh wait, I have to write to him a message because I don't know if he's in the chat or not. But if he got any questions, he should not write me a WhatsApp because I will not see WhatsApp. Well, we'll see the stream though on my second device. Dennis. He said, our Japanese friend says he was riding 180. Thank you. 180 SX when he was younger. Oh, I just bit my tongue. Ouch.
That's very cool.
S13s.
Rarer and rarer these days.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of S chassis, even in Japan, they're among the rarer ones now. If I recall it correctly. Or let's say among the more expensive chassis to drive. Yeah, I also sort of know/heard that nobody really drifts. I guess in Japan they're fairly DCs. Especially the C34, almost nobody drifts. At least in pro competition, because it's really hard to take on the front end, which I can attest to that it is. And it took us a long time to make it work. Probably still not exactly into that, but you can make it work. Anyway, guys, if you want to work on cars, don't do what's happened here, and always keep proper, how would you say, always keep proper structure, because if you get to a point where you're looking for stuff more than you're actually spending time working, then it's already too late. Speaking of. So yeah, TLDR, proper structure is important to work efficiently. And it's especially hard to rebuild a proper structure once you've lost it.
Are you a professional racer or an amateur?
That depends on how you define professional.
Well, you do have a racing license.
You have a racing license.
So you're a professional. He's a professional, guys. He's a
Well,
professional.
in drifting, the term professional is weirdly different from probably any other motorsport. Since in drifting we have usually a pro class and an amateur class, or a pro class and a pro 2 class, and basically everywhere we're driving we're in the pro class. So if that's what you define as professional, then yes. If you define purely by driving and earning enough to live off, then no.
Yeah, but you have a lot. How many professional racers you have that are not earning with it to live all?
In drifting, very few. I mean, you do need something built around it, a business model or social media to have marketing value to companies to earn actual money through. In drifting, you will not live off of the how would you say it? The prize money, no way. So yeah, you need a business model around it. And, yeah. Let's say we're trying hard for that to earn more money than driving costs. But if you define professional by the wins and pro class of your country, then yes.
Oh yeah. as professional as it gets in Germany.
Great, but better than before.
Dennis is asking, are we pros?
With a B or a P?
Bros or pros?
Hopefully both.
Pro bros.
Vorher sind wir dafür oder dagegen?
Dafür oder dagegen?
Yeah. Pro is a weird word. Semi-pro is weird because does it come from professional or does it come for something? We are pro drifters, that's for sure, in the sense that we are for drifting. No debate about that.
Semi-pro.
What did I
Semi-pro.
What was I about?
Bros before pros. Sounds good to me.
That should be an 8. Yep.
There's a lot of Japanese I can't read here. Thank you for the hearts. Little Japanese friend, what's your name? Can't read your name. To me, it's alien symbols. Funny thing is, I could mic it all up. I found a way to mic up the phone with the wireless microphones to transmit the signal directly into the phone. And have the wireless mics directly on the people. So the phone can be instantly a full streaming device if I want to use it. So with one I need to put things together and tie them up. I have enough of velcros and zip ties to do so. So things don't fall apart while we carry them around. But we tried in Valencia and I found out why it didn't work.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, you wanted to do like a message with my phone, then I marked it up, but it didn't work. And it didn't work because my USB-C was apparently very broken. So I had to rotate it around, and then it would work. Our Japanese friend saw the DeLorean driving around the other day.
Pretty cool. There's a drift DeLorean in Europe, but it's actually a BMW's Z4 underneath.
Fake DeLorean.
Yeah, I think it drove a drift show at Formula 1 in the Netherlands. Don't know who built it. I do know it was there.
It's funny, people see me in my natural habitat. You're doing stuff and I'm just hanging on the wall. Look at it. It's so funny. Need help with anything? Just so people don't say anything.
What?
Need help with anything?
I'll be fine. Thanks. I'll let you know when I do.
Well, we did put a kickboxing, so people stop complaining that I'm just not doing anything. Nobody complained, I'm just saying. Don't you dare.
Struggling to get the tape off the joint. Probably help me in a second. Need something from Shirts Tucked In today.
Nobody cares.
No, there's a brand called Shirts Tucked In.
Really?
Yeah. Very grassroots drifting and stuff, if I recall correctly. Be appropriate today, that's why.
The Japanese proper grassroots.
Or was it from the US? I don't remember. Anyways,
But it's pretty dope that we have like Japanese,
maybe.
that we have Japanese like colors and stuff.
Yeah, it is. Wait a second. Oops.
Is this guy lubricated or something?
Still a little greased up. Just put a little bit on the front. Remember guys, always use lube.
For those gearbox we're gonna see, unless, yeah. Because I'm trying to
Need some glue to get into this glove, to be honest.
5 feet.
Just
Because something is improbable. Oh yeah, okay. Slightly improbable. No, the YouTube app is not always like updating stuff in a real time. And then it gets stuck for X amount of time. I don't know why it's programmed so funky that it doesn't really work as one would expect. Drive shaft, yeah, I'll be putting a drive shaft in now. Well, when I say we, Henrik is doing it. I'm a monkey. I know shit about mechanics. Well, a little bit, but not really. Just you. It's just
realized.
there you go. Bye-bye.
That's when I'm not in neutral anymore. Not sure if the gearbox is in neutral anymore. Oh, fine.
Let me show you that. Oh, damn. What did I do? There you go. I pressed something. Drive shaft is in. Freshly balanced. And you know, just put some bolts in now. There we have it. Sub-inch differential. Drive shaft.
I like to have the drive shaft at a bit, or the top shaft at a bit less of an angle. The only way to do that is to refit the differential in the set frame, so that's something for next off season. Yeah, we're not in neutral anymore. Yeah. Nope. So the play you have now, on a normal gearbox I'd be able to just, you know, feel if we're in neutral or not, but this is a sequential. You can try and upshift or downshift until we're there, but just to show you, the play that we have in here now is mainly from coming from the gearbox, in the sense that other than traditional synchro mesh gearboxes, this is a racing gearbox with straight cut gears and dog engagement. And dog engagement means that on the side of your cogs in there, you have some teeth, and basically these teeth rotate onto and into each other on RPM, and you have some space between these teeth. So that's the movement we have in here now.
Our Japanese friend says under the car is very clean.
Thank you very much.
Well, then Eric put a lot of effort into it, designing it and keeping it very clean, with all the cooling going back to the car and up, and the fuel tanks and everything. Everything's super nice protected.
Some little bits and bobs are still missing, but
Yeah, he's to be honest, never super satisfied.
No.
He always finds something else that needs to be done.
thank you very much for the compliment.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm just going to reposition the whole shaft so I don't have to go through the gears. Sometimes these slip yokes are a bit hard to get out because there's a vacuum building up in front. So you have to overcome that. I'm going to move up the outside a bit too. I'm not sure if that's the proper way to do it, but I think kind of hard. In this position I'll be able to put my U-joints in and I need neutral, at least for now.
Do you want to tell a couple of words in German to people what we're doing? Because I think there's quite a few Germans who are following.
Klar. Wir hatten das Getriebe unten, weil wir auf dem letzten Event mit diesem Auto einen Schaden an der Eingangswelle hatten. Das heißt, die musste neu, und gleichzeitig haben wir dafür noch die Kupplung rausgebaut, einfach um auch zu checken, ob mit einer abgerissenen Eingangswelle irgendein Schaden am Pilotlager entstanden ist. Manchmal sind das Bronzebuchsen, je nach Fabrikat, wie zum Beispiel beim VQ37, außer natürlich, man holt sich als Upgrade ein Kugellager als Pilotlager. Hier in dem Fall haben wir ein Kugellager drin gehabt. Das hat keinen Schaden genommen und spricht aber darum, wir mussten wieder die Kupplung wieder einbauen. In dem Fall bei den Extreme Performance Clutches sind das bei der 230 mm Durchmesserkupplung, ich meine 22 Schrauben von der Druckplatte aufs Gehäuse. Und ja, da habe ich dreimal neu angefangen, weil ich mich habe ablenken lassen, und es ist natürlich wichtig, dass man die ohne große Spannung da drauf baut, beziehungsweise dass sich die Spannung gut verteilt. Ja, danach ist Getriebe wieder drauf gekommen, was bei dieser Hebebühne hier gar nicht so einfach ist, weil es eben eine Einzelbühne ist. Das heißt, man hat hier diese Querstrebe, die im Weg ist. Und man kann auch unten nicht wirklich mit dem Getriebeheber hin und her fahren. Es hat dann aber doch ganz gut funktioniert. Jetzt gerade kommt noch die Kardanwelle wieder frisch rein, die ist neu gewuchtet worden, weil wir ein kleines Vibrationsproblem hatten. Und ich bin hauptsächlich gespannt, ob diese Vibration jetzt erstmal wieder vollständig weg ist oder ob wir hier tatsächlich auch einen zu hohen Winkel haben zwischen Getriebe und Differential. Weil wenn die Kreuzgelenke in zu hohem Winkel laufen, dann kann auch das zur Vibration führen. Unabhängig davon, ob es zur Vibration führt, im Endeffekt will man die Kardanwelle immer so horizontal wie möglich zwischen Getriebe und Differential haben. Aber da wir mit der Motorposition von dem Auto hier in der Off-Season im Winter nochmal ich muss lügen, 14 cm oder so nach hinten gekommen sind, verkürzt sich natürlich auch die Welle. Und wenn man eine Höhendifferenz hat zwischen Getriebe und Differential und dabei die Welle kürzt, heißt das natürlich, umso kürzer die Welle, umso höher der Winkel. Und vielleicht ist gerade das bisschen dazugekommen, dass es auch hier zu Vibrationen kommt. Ja, unabhängig davon will man es sowieso so horizontal wie möglich haben. Weil auch wenn man erstmal keine Vibrationen wegen der Winkeldifferenz bzw. der Höhendifferenz hat, schränkt das die Lebenszeit von der Welle ein und meinem Verständnis nach theoretisch auch die Kraftübertragung. Also man hat auch mehr Verlustleistung dazwischen. Ja, das Ganze sieht aber so aus, dass wir mit dem Motor unmöglich noch weiter runterkommen können. Ich habe sowieso eigentlich schon zu wenig Platz zwischen Motor und Lenkgetriebe. Das heißt, die einzige Möglichkeit ist, mit dem Differential nach oben zu wandern, und das sind gute 30 mm, was eine Menge Holz ist, vor allem weil ich dann auch hinten das Bodenblech wieder so modifizieren muss, damit der Achsträger mehr Platz hat, damit das Differential auch nach oben kann, dass ich die komplette Kühlerkonstruktion im Heck mit umbauen muss. Deshalb würde ich das gerne vermeiden und erst im Winter angreifen, wenn die Saison rum ist. Aber ob wir das trotzdem müssen, weil eben dieser Winkel zu hoch ist, das merke ich am Dienstag auf dem Prüfstand. Jo. Bis dahin Daumen drücken, dass einfach nur die Welle vorher schlecht gewuchtet war. Should I do that again in English?
You can if you want.
Yeah, let me actually also get the input track. So, the last event we were at, we didn't The last event we were at with this car, we had an input shaft failure. So, well, the gearbox needed to come off to replace the input shaft anyways, but we also took off the clutch because we wanted to inspect if the broken input shaft did any damage to the pilot bearing. So that's basically the bearing in the engine where this bit of the input shaft sits in, which also centers it, right? Because, well, depending on what went wrong and what went, pilot bearing could be damaged, which then would introduce the new input shaft to not run properly, basically like this in an exaggerated way. So we took off the clutch to check that, which also means the clutch needed to go back on, which this is an extreme performance clutch to 30 millimeter, which is, well, the best clutch I've ever driven for what we're doing, which is high horsepower drifting. But at the same time, it comes with 22 bolts on the pressure plate to connect it to the housing. And long story short, I got distracted twice while torquing those down, so I started fresh from the beginning because I didn't want to introduce any tension in those bolts by over torquing some and forgetting some others or something. So that took a while. After that, we put the gearbox back on, of course, with the new input shaft. And yeah, that's a bit tricky here because today we're working on a one pole lift.
It's like a movable lift.
Yeah, exactly. Which means you have this beam that's in the way, and also these beams on the floor that are in the way to be able to move gearbox jack properly, so it was a bit of effort. And just now we put in the prop shaft, and long story short, also we had some vibration issues with the car, which we deduced come from the prop shaft. The only question is that because it was badly balanced and we had over-tightened joints on it? Or is it because the prop shaft is running on too high of an angle? Reason for being is we have a height difference between the output of the gearbox and the differential flange. And that height difference introduces an angle on the prop shaft, of course, but we changed the engine position over the off season to be about 14 or 15 centimeters, so 140, 150 millimeters further back. And of course, if you get the engine further back, you get a shorter prop shaft. And if you have a height difference between gearbox and differential, and you shorten the distance, the angle rises. So my worry is that we may have introduced a little too much angle into the prop shaft, and that could also cause the vibration. But to eliminate or to confirm that fear, we had it completely rebalanced and put new joints in it, and to find out if we do need to change the differential position in the subframe to be higher to get the prop shaft perfectly aligned again. I will find out on the dyno on next Tuesday, hopefully. Which is something I wanted to do in the next off-season, because it introduces a lot more work than just repositioning and refabricating the rear subframe. It would also mean I would have to redo the whole cooling solution in the rear with the water cooler, because that would need to go higher, so I could take more material out of the floor pan, so the differential in the subframe would have more space. Yeah, let's find out. And let's also especially not forget to torque my prop shaft bolts and gearbox mount. Oops.
Very heavy, guys. Quick explanation.
So yeah, if you're doing fabrication on your race car, make sure that you're positioning things in a way that the prop shaft is as perfectly horizontal as possible. Any amount of angle on the joints you do not want. Because it introduces premature wear, it can introduce vibrations if it's too much, and it will lose your power. So what was I about to do? Torque these bolts. The 13 or 14, I don't remember. 14. Sweet. We are fixing the 370, well, it's a 3JZ 370Z.
So-called 370JZ.
Wayne Kong is back. Are you in Germany? Yes, we are in Germany. Oh, no rust under the car. Yep, that's the point. It's a race car. Or a drift car.
Do I want to do that? Where's that first? So there's no real way to torque down these U-joints, because you simply don't have access for socket on the torque wrench. We'll just get those tight. By feel, which means rather over tighten them and replace the U-joints sometimes. I'm not meaning to loose. Oh, actually, never mind. I'm going to take out the whole thing again in a minute. Because I forgot the safety hoops.
Which are what?
So we're in a buddy's workshop. We used to be here in the past, but we are building the Jamspeed headquarters still, and we don't have a lift in it yet. So whenever I need a lift, I come down here, which in return means my parts are all in a different location, very, very close to here, but I forgot my 2 safety hoops for the prop shaft, by which I mean it's basically 2 huge, thick metal rings that we slide over the prop shaft and fix up to the chassis in proximity to the front and the rear joint. So basically, if the joints fail, the prop shaft will get caught in these rings and these safety hoops instead of smashing through the car and, worst case, taking my legs off or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense, right? To have it.
Because if you think about it, I don't know, I have to lie, but 4th gear with this car is probably 6,600 RPMs. Full RPM, so yeah, you don't want to know what prop shaft at 6,500 RPM can do to some sheet metal. It's not fun. So I'll go grab my safety hoops and be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll show you guys the car in the meantime.
Should I let it down?
No. They can wait for the 2J to be exposed. See if you guys are okay. So I have to squeeze, put you guys on sort of a stand here. Thanks everybody for following, and thank you for your likes. I will be back on the track in an hour or so. We're in the workshop now. So I will go back to the racetrack and stream for you Nürburgring when we're done here. Stick around, and thank you everybody for following, and thank you everybody for liking the stream. If you have any questions, just shoot my way.
Oh, that's very fast. Well, so, I hope this is visible. This is, tell me what it is. This is one of the safety hoops, which we have two of. So this is going to go just behind the, this way, just behind the front drive shaft joint. So if that or if the drive shaft fails, it will get caught in here like this, instead of without of it maybe cutting through the floor pan of the car into the driver's compartment. And at the rear we have another one, so that in case of a failure the fuel tank or the fuel safety cell will also remain undamaged. And what's also apparent on first glance is that, I hope this is visible on stream, but I did not weld this. It's really nice overlay, see? Which one can argue about if it's stronger and better or not, but I do know that it looks cool and requires more skill than I have with a torch. So, yeah, whenever I'm holding something like that, it's just a nice feeling. It's like putting some new machine parts into the car. Feels nice. Here are the bolts. I'll have to look for new bolts once we took this off and once.
sure I found something I can use.
Just don't remember if these were M6 or M8.
Yeah, so we're okay.
I should have checked before I left and brought some from my place, but that's why I said take care that you always have your stuff organized, because otherwise you'll spend more time looking for stuff than working. And for efficiency, that's a killer.
Hey, Roger. What, Roger? I need to figure out this phone stand.
Steal these. That's fine. Oh, fuck. I have to take off the gear linkage and turn it around later, because we didn't do that because of the beam in here. I'll do it later. So let's get the prop shaft in and then make sure I torqued all of those before I distract myself any further. This is the rear hoop, which in this case will attach to the subframe, since on the floor pan it's not really possible down there. My shaft all dirty. time today. I'm doing everything twice today, did you notice?
Third time is a charm.
If you're running out of strength. Oh, fuck. Can you help me push this maybe? Yeah. Oh, I'm further up than before, so it's harder. Just push it to the front.
Here.
No, not there, because we need to slide it in to grab the...
Okay.
Yep. Once again. Miss a leg. Okay, that will work. Thanks. Don't think we're in properly. Oh, that's more. Slowly let go. Wait. Slowly.
Let's see, here's the panel.
There's some debris here. No.
Let's slow down.
That's the first time. I'll do this one. No, it's good. One would think I didn't build this car by putting it together. Sorry? One would think I didn't build this car the way I'm putting it together, but I did in fact. To a large part.
It's easy to forget details.
I'm just not on my A game today, guys. Been had some stuff going on in the family the last days. So, yeah. Anyways, working on your race car should be happy times, so it helps. So that's the third time's the charm kind of day today. That's also why start preparing early and better be done preparing content earlier than on the last day. If you always think you have time until you don't, and then mistakes happen. Or something something sudden, and suddenly you have an issue where you don't have as much time to prepare for the event as you thought. All of that the hard way. Yeah. In competition, preparation is half the week thing. First. Bit confused. now it's sliding in properly. It still wasn't. It's kind of crazy. If you have some ratchet elements that are expensive enough to be small enough that I could fit in here, that would be nice. I just have to.
I bought.
Oh, well, so I didn't need for torquing, just for wrenching this down. I just have to refit it for every rotation.
I really like my new phone mounting thingy. I just like.
Yeah.
It's a good contraption. This. I can just put it on unassuming positions, and then have the phone shooting. It's pretty dope.
Did you see my teeny tiny breaker board somewhere? Yeah. Let's take this one.
Nope.
Is that count? Oh yeah, I still have to put threaded rivet up there. See if I have the rivet gun for that here. I think it's a nice cinch.
I have even better idea. I have even better ideas. I'm full of ideas today.
It's good in person, huh?
I'm going to use this guy here to mount the phone.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Doesn't have a mobile unit. If I can hook it up properly.
I'm gonna go grab my rubber gun.
You go do that. Now we'll try to make a little contraption here. Extended contraption. So cool. Well, I can drive around. How cool is that? Guys, I'm driving around. It's the coolest thing ever now. I have to take a picture of that. Coolest thing ever. The car looks exceptionally good. Mike, stay around. We will show you more of the car soon. As soon as we are done with the rear part. Car looks exceptionally good. It's a project car, my friend. It's our 370Z with a 2JZ. It's what it is. Jan-Erik is on his way back. We'll continue wrenching, but I will go to the track soon, half an hour or so. So I will pause the live stream and then we'll be back from the track side. Thanks everybody for following, and thank you for liking the stream. I will be back to Nürburgring in a half an hour to 45 minutes, and we will be live streaming the track until the end of Yuri's driving. If the weather says it should. I live stream every day, mostly Nürburgring, sometimes workshop. Next workshop will be in a week or two. 2 weeks, I think 2 or 3 weeks. We're putting back the engine into my 370. Here we have a 2JZ in a Pro Drift car. Winters, quick differential, Samsung has quick change. Okay, Samsung has oh my god, the sequential. I'm done. And full around winters, Weissweb steering kit, all sorts of goodies, fully routed cooling to the back, dry sump, all sorts of stuff done to this car. It's a project car. Yeah. MCS suspension, as you can see in the front, motion control suspension from the United States. We have a subsidiary here in Germany. They're also partners of the team, so we do a lot together. We also drive on Nürburgring quite often. We will go there for a meeting. They want me to do some stuff for them, so don't get surprised when you see MCS branded content in livestream and also on the channel. We're making some moves into space, and companies wanna talk to us. So stick around. We've built the Instagram for LongStoryShort, also for the pro drift teams like True Power and Jan Erik Zeba. I've built the TikTok, and now I'm building YouTube. So you will have a lot of content coming your way, a lot of live streams, a lot of interesting things. So yeah, stick around. Make sure to subscribe and see what this season holds for us, because I've already been streaming on TikTok for like 2.5 months, but then YouTube told me, hey, you can also do it with us. So I said, okay, let's go for it. In the past 3 days, we already had more than 50,000 people in the live stream. I think altogether I streamed about less than 10 hours. So it's pretty good performance, and I'm glad you guys are liking it. There's a lot of racetrack, there's a lot of Nürburgring stuff, which is coming in about half an hour again. I'm just helping Jan Erik installing all this stuff by standing around, and he just needs help me to lift this and move it tomorrow.
Let's see if we'll continuing the theme of doing everything twice today.
Why?
Because put an M10 threaded rivet in there, and I will have to drill it open. Still access that with a drill comfortably, maybe.
I will have to go back to track around 5. I should go to track again.
Fair enough.
So that's okay with you? So I can catch last 2 hours of Nürburgring for the people?
Of course.
Because they've been asking. What is a sway bar for front wheel?
Oh.
Sway bar? The one that's hanging. Jacob is asking about the sway bar again.
Oh yeah, I still have to.
This needs to be welded.
I still have to weld on the connecting
you'll have to kind of, you're turning your back to them, so then
Oh, sorry.
so you have to, yeah.
I still have to weld on these pieces to, yeah, well, properly connect them, but that's not something I'll be doing today still. But yeah, in theory, that's supposed to be on the control arm, and then you just bolt it on. But of course, I'll have to, you know, I didn't want to eyeball the position, so I hooked it all up, and once I have the car back on the ground, I will put some points on where I want it, and then fully weld it also from the back.
Cool, thanks. Is it?
Jacob says that, thanks. Yeah, of course. It's also a nice reminder of you have work to do, sir, if you come into the workshop and it's hanging around.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Definitely today is not the day I will weld.
You might end up building 3 times.
No, I might end up hurting myself because I'm in some sort of
Limbo.
limbo.
Yeah, some days do be like that.
Well, wait. And 10 threaded rivet will be 13 mil. Well, let's see if that's asking too much. Yeah, I think we'll go with the 11.5 first. Ideally, this is done before putting the prop shaft in, but oh well.
It is what it is. Now I can move my contraption around. Kind of crazy. Sorry?
Should have gotten the Makita drill. I forgot this one is not really.
Reliable.
No, it's on its last legs. I don't want to go back up again now. So. Let's first go another size smaller, see if that's enough. As I said, the drill is not doing particularly well. About to go grab the other one.
Oh, I'm about to finish it up here.
Yeah.
So everybody,
Grab the other one.
you can say goodbye to Jan Erik. Thank you for today, Jan Erik.
Well, if you want me to, Marco, I can lower the car for 2 minutes before you go.
Yeah, we can do that.
Since you were promising.
We can show off the I'm dropping stuff now. So a contraption thing for the phone. Jan-Erik wants to show you guys the car.
Oh, you promised you would show it.
Well, yes, I did.
I
Let's
want to
drop.
be in the right state of mind to continue working.
Yeah.
Which I've
Full.
done today, so I'm doing all the breads. I'm doing that 3 times.
It's okay. Now let's open the door and the gate, so we have a little bit more space to show the front of the car. And then
So yeah, it's very nice that we're allowed to use this place for the time being. We don't have to lift in our own workshop right now, since we're doing stuff to the flooring.
let me just check the messages. Okay, cool. Here's the car. And here is the 2J. We got a Turbo Smart 64, 66. But yeah, now you can say more.
You got that right. Yeah,
What's
it's a Turbo Smart 64, 66. So that's housing sizes 1.0 AR. I think they also come in 0.8 or 0.75. This one is a divided housing. And yeah, pretty happy with it so far.
That's a twin scroll.
That's a twin scroll, basically.
So you have 2 wastegates.
We are running 2 wastegates since the main end goal was drivability with this car. You could argue that even with a twin scroll, you can go a single big wastegate, which, depending on who you ask, will cost you a little bit of drivability. But at the same time, if you're having wastegate issues on the track, you will know which wastegate is causing the issue, and it will be much quicker to sort out. But since we went with TurboSmart and I trust their stuff, I'm not worried about the wastegate failing prematurely. That's why we opted for 2.
There we have it, guys. And there's
yeah.
the MCS controller for the suspension, right?
That's just an external reservoir, so you have more fluid in the whole system.
Okay, but you can control something from there, or like stiffness or something.
Yeah, my adjustments are on here. We're running 2 ways. Since I mean, you can always get some sort of improvement from a 3-way or 4-way if you set it up correctly. But we're a small team, so we're plenty busy setting the car up as is. So we don't need to bother with additional adjustment on the coils. I think 2-way is a very happy medium of performance and usability. Just a small team, so that's what we went with. It's also a cost factor, of course. We do work together with MCS, but we still pay for our own stuff in some kind of way. So there's that. But yeah, very happy with them. I also have the option to adjust the overall system pressure. I have valves on all 4 of these external reservoirs, so always have some pressurized nitrogen with me to change the overall pressure if I'm not happy with the adjustment range I have on track.
There we have it. TY, the car guy, has a question. How do you like the strut position on the Y-Swap?
By strut position, could you elaborate? But I can talk about the Y-Swap in general.
I guess strut position in general, how it's all lining up with Y-Swap. I'm not sure.
Well, we tried different things. What was it? We drove an FAT kit before. That's from Poland. Went from there to a
3 locations on the controller.
Oh yeah. So I think ideally, but that's a chassis limitation. Ideally, we would be lower down with the 2 inner points on the lower control arm, concerning ride height and engine position. But I think Weissfab did a pretty good job for the limitations. I'm not sure if I want to call it limitations, but for having to run a double wishbone on the 370. Especially combined with a rear rack, that makes it quite tricky. We always have some little over-centering issue still, where the car will lock up on me on high angle, especially from high speed into low speed bits. But we're getting closer and closer to figuring that out, and I'm gaining more and more trust in the front end. But yeah, it's definitely tricky, and there's very little knowledge in the drift community to set up a double wishbone rear rack kind of
Cool.
assembly in the front.
There you have it. What
If
happened?
that answers your question.
Well, if it doesn't, too bad. Anyhow, what happened to the intake? Where's the intake? We have a missing part here.
So we were running a Bosch Motorsport 82 millimeter drive-by-wire throttle body so far, which means we have to go from our 3.5-inch piping to, well, we have to reduce that to an 82, and we just want this little restriction as possible in the way. So we are going to go to LS2, LS3 GM 90 millimeter drive-by-wire throttle body, for which we need to have some machining on the intake done, and also have to have an adapter machine to fit that. So right now the manifold is at HK Power, and they are working on that, and we'll be there on probably next Tuesday to do a dyno run and get that all dialed in.
There you have it, guys.
So basically it will then be a straight connection from the intercooler pipe into the intake manifold.
Some epic stuff. How do you like your brake booster elimination decision solution thing?
Oh, so in general on a race car, I think it's a massive difference if you delete the brake booster in comparison to running one. Yes, you will in general have a brake pedal that is tougher to operate in terms of the force you need, but it's also going to be way more consistent, which of course helps also with the consistency on track. And another big difference is that if you are running ALS, in the sense of without a dedicated ALS valve and everything, you will lose your vacuum in the system, and a brake booster runs off your system vacuum, which means if you're running ALS and you want to brake like you're used to, the pedal is going to do something else depending on how much vacuum is left in the system, or if you have any at all from using your ALS, which is very bad for consistency, and which is also very bad when you're like in, let's call it an emergency situation and you expect more braking to be there than there actually is. And of course, if you delete your brake booster, you will not need consistent vacuum to have a consistent pedal. So I think it's much more precise and much more reliable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I think the another interesting part would be for the people, thank you for the engine bay showcase, would be the interior of the vehicle, which is, you had the car on the weight, right?
Yeah.
So you weighed the car. So yeah. What did it do?
We're around 1260 kilos, all fluids included, without me in the car. Which is going to be just a little bit heavier because we still have to fabricate a complete rear sway bar. So that's going to be a little bit of extra weight. Did I forget something? Yeah, we're going to add a fan on the front intercooler. So there's that, but it's literally like 1.5 kilos extra. But yeah, without the rear sway bar and without the intercooler fan, we were at around 1260 kg. With all fluids, but without me as a driver. With me as a driver, we got, I have to lie, I wrote it down, I don't remember if we were at 56 to 44 front and rear bias or 54 to 46. I believe it was 54 to 46. Which for a drift car is perfectly fine. Front rear bias is not as big of a deal as in some other motorsports. Actually, most drivers will probably prefer some front bias because it makes the car much more predictable to drive also especially on transitions, because you have less weight that's leveraging from the rear. And we usually get enough traction from the tire anyway. What's much more important is the weight balance between the rear left and the rear right, or depending on who you ask, cross weight, because that's going to hugely influence the feel in right-handers compared to left-handers, and we are pretty much at 50-50 there with me in the car. So that worked out like a charm. And, we didn't build the car on the scales, but the general concept was that the heavy side on a 2J is the front right, while at the same time I as a driver am sitting on the left side. And most chassis in Europe, also the left side is a bit heavier than the right side, because you have more rigidity and crash protection for the driver there in the chassis. And also these are a little bit asymmetrical, but anyways, front right is supposed to be heavier than I'm sitting on the left, so we put as much of the weight as we could in the rear to the right side.
Can we lift it?
To offset all of that. And the rear is pretty much done, other than I still need to make some. We did drive the car like this and it's fine thermally, but especially for very hot days, I still need to make some ducting for the front of the radiator, so that we do not recirculate hot used air like we do right now. Since you have gaps here, the fans will probably draw some of the hot exhaust air that goes out here back into the front, and that's, well, okay thermally, but obviously not ideal.
Yeah.
So there's still going to be some ducting in there that will basically seal up to this cutout in the rear, and we will not recirculate as much hot air as we're doing right now. Yeah. I have a bash bar almost finished for this car, it's just not on there right now. I have another mock-up one that I still need to build. Yeah.
Cool. There you have it. We have dry sump.
Tank. And in front of that is the fuel cell.
In front of that is somewhere fuel cell.
If I were to build this car again, maybe I would swap the positions of the two. Simply because of the accessibility of the fuel cell, and also the option to maybe upgrade it to upgrade, depends on your use case, but to maybe expand it to a larger one in the future. Because right now the car is basically built for one battle, so we have about 17 liters V85, and for another set of tires we need to refuel, so it's not really a good demo car or anything, if that makes sense. But yeah, dry sump tank in that location also for, well, how should I put it?
Lower.
Peace of mind of the tank is higher than the pump, so there will never be a lack of supply, since gravity is also helping, but I'm no expert on that, don't take my word for it. But that was the idea, and it was easier to fit there in the short term.
Cool. Okay. Let's go in front of the car and let's say goodbye to the people. And let's thank Jan Erik for all the insights. Thank you everybody for writing your messages. Let me just check. I wasn't reading any of them at the moment. People are happy. They appreciate the insight.
Being here. Hope you had fun. Maybe learned something. Yeah.
See you next time, right?
Stay with Marco. I think he's gonna visit Nordschleife again.
Yeah.
For some track action.
We're gonna finish the day with some 1 hour and a half of Nürburgring to curious driving. If it's not closed because somebody crashed, I have to check the messages.
But maybe in August we'll be driving ourselves again also. We still need to fix up the car for that, and this one takes priority.
So which car would you fix up for that?
This one right here.
Should we show them? No, guys.
Have to be back.
This way.
Some other time.
There you have it. There's something right here next to me, and it looks amazing. We already had a drive in that, but it needs a little bit of work done. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
See you next
Enjoy
time.
your time at the track, and thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye.